believe this is the third year for this playoff format, where it's a best of three. Just your thoughts on just for teams who make it this far, who win 25 games, of getting a home game. Are you in favor of that, or is it time for that, or is your league still maybe a few years away from that?
Where else is go? We can start in here. If we've got questions in here. Couldn't kick us off.
Good second choice this time.
Yeah, good call.
Oh, I learned. Maybe a slow learner. I just expected the same thing. I know it's like a real basic question, but getting Ezzy back, how nice is it? How much of a change is that for you? And especially on the defensive end, not that you guys change anything, but how do you guys utilize her differently than when you don't have her, I suppose?
I mean, the reality of it is, as he was in the mix for, one of the top defensive players of the year in our league this year. So from that standpoint, you can imagine what that means for us, from rim protection to shot altering to defending multiple positions, being a presence to, someone who has playoff experience, though young. And then on the other side of the basketball, we only had 30 points in the paint last game, a 2-point quarter. Maybe she helps with our cutting and our rim attacks and what we can do in transition. So it's twofold with Ezzy. It's not only on the defensive end, but, in totality, what she brings. Mm-hmm.
Coach, this whole season, what's it been like for you to watch Ezzy playing with NECA? They strike me as having somewhat similar personalities. They're really cerebral post players. They're calm, but they're fierce.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder what it's been like to have NECA somewhat in a mentor role for Ezzy.
Yeah, well, we have accountability partners. They are partners along with Jordan Horston in that group. So what you see is exactly that. Someone who, I wanted Ezzy to breathe the rare air that NECA breathes. Grace, the way she works, how she communicates, her leadership. These are the things I think Ezzy can grow into. She has it, and NECA has said it about her before. She's the future, of this organization, and she is quiet, but she's fierce. And there's something that we all see in her that we want to pull out consistently. And it's like iron sharpening iron. They think very similarly in how they want to treat people and how they want to approach the game. NECA, has had 13 years of experience in this league. So, the talent level and the work ethic and, the mind for the game, and all those things that show up every day for her as, in her game. I think Ezzy sees that and feeds off of that. And she's learned a lot from NECA.
Let's go to Zoom and take a question from Percy, and then we'll go to Jeff Brown. Percy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, it was after the last game that you said that you wanted to take a look at the film. So I'm just curious as to what did the film show, and how do you, I guess, fix things for tonight?
We did get gassed in the fourth quarter. No field goals, a 2-point quarter can't happen. We have to find ways to score the basketball. I thought that holding Vegas to a 9-point quarter on the opposite spectrum was very good for us. So if we can stay in that defensive pocket, be physical, be attentive to our matchups. When it came down into the fourth quarter, wasn't necessarily plays or actions, it was one-on-one. And so if we defend at a high level, we get to a point of the game where it's a close possession by possession game. We have to put our hard hats on the defensive end and really take pride in our one-on-one matchup. And so that's what I saw defensively, and then offensively. Obviously, we have to find ways to score at the latter part of the game.
And then in these types of elimination games, I've heard you say that by this time, everyone knows everyone's actions. So with this types of games, just what will it, obviously it won't be one thing, but a few things that this game will come down to after it's over?
I think, our start, that's another thing I thought we addressed, our start, we had a really good start. We have to do the same today. Vegas went on their run and we kind of say, salvages or stayed afloat. They did that and we have to be mindful that the runs are going to happen. So just kind of staying locked into those moments of what we have to be very focused on those details. And at the end of the day, X's and O's, whatever, basketball language. Aside from that, the intangibles is who wants it more? Do we want to extend the series? Or can this be the last possible game that we play? And the will has to be greater.
Just also, I believe this is the third year for this playoff format, where it's a best of three. Just your thoughts on, for teams who make it this far, who win 25 games, of getting a home game. Are you in favor of that, or is it time for that, or is your league still maybe a few years away from that?
Yeah, you work hard all year long to first and foremost make the playoffs. And so definitely would love a chance to have a home game with, like you're saying, winning 25 games after a season in which we only won 11. There's some pride in that, and we want to play a playoff game in front of our fans. So, we have an opportunity to this year, and if we extend this season, but yes, I would love to see a format shift in which everyone gets a home playoff game. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Coach.
Sure.
We got about 4 minutes left, Jeff Brown, and then we'll go to Christian.
Yeah, Coach, after last game, the thing that stood out the most to me was NECA talking about how she really gassed out in that fourth quarter. And because of that, she didn't think to really give the team advice when they were struggling so much on offense, and said she was just trying to catch her breath. So kind of how do you avoid having that happen tonight?
Eddie's back.
Just balancing starters minutes and bench players. I mean, is it just as simple as just having Ezzy as well, or?
We have another elite post player who is in the lineup. Playoff rotations get very tight as he is back, meaning there are ways in which we can give NECA more rest. Yes.
And then between Ezzy and Mercedes, I felt like Mercedes has played quite well filling in for Ezzy. And I also think that just because of her size and her length and her strength, she does kind of create some problems for Asia. So obviously no one's going to stop Asia, but I think Mercedes does do a good job. How do you balance, bringing Ezzy back in with, still being able to play Mercedes as well?
He's saying Ezzy doesn't do a good job on Asia. I think, you're right. And Mercedes has played excellent minutes. The reality of it is that he's been our starter all year, and I'm going to lean on our defensive presence. And so it may not be a one-on-one matchup, but it could be a help matchup or a double team matchup or physicality coming over and kind of neutralizing what they could do at the rim. Says will have that matchup within the rotations, to be able to get some reps or the matchup with Asia. At the end of the day, I don't think Asia's going to go 1 for 8 again. So no matter who's on her, the length does disrupt her, but she also can drive to the rim. And so it's not just a one-on-one matchup; it's a team matchup against Asia.
Last one, real quick.
Jeff, we got to go. Christian, and then last question in the guys.
Hey, Coach. I know in the last post game you said you didn't want Ezzy coming back feeling like she had to be Superwoman, and I understand that. But even if she's not 100%, her presence on the court does a lot for your team. Especially in the third quarter, where Asia, I think she scored 14 or 15 points in that quarter. A lot of those points was from getting free space at the top of the key, ball screens, really just getting NECA in motion, and also leaving a lot of space open. Could you just speak to how Ezzy kind of restricts that? Things that don't reach up in the box score and are important in that nature?
Yeah, I think her ability to switch on. If you look at the film, 3 that Asia got, we didn't switch. And so just her ability to actually switch on to Asia when she's in motion in ball screens. Ezzy has to have foul discipline today. So, there are things that she does on help side that really allow us to allow us to have some presence at the rim and in the paint. And that's the biggest thing I would point to is her ability on the help side to just deter a little bit. Now the straight line drives, same thing if she's on or off Asia. There's a presence there that we missed the other night.
And we've got time for one last question. Nikai, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Just a quick one for you. I think the game on Sunday was the highest single game sample that we've seen of Jordan Horston and Gabby Williams playing together. I think it was 16 minutes. Obviously, two terrific perimeter defenders, and they bring more to the court than that. But it did feel like in that fourth quarter in particular, the Aces got more and more audacious in helping off of them when they were spaced. How do you kind of balance playing them together and getting that defensive impact and working around those constraints?
And you know, she's a lot of times great is over helping and able to get her hands on balls because of that. They both have to be aggressive. You know, I thought they scored at a decent clip. I think we have to get in transition a little bit more. I mean, we have to get stops. When those two are on the floor, our defense cannot lack. So I think we have to do a better job on Hayes. I think we have to do a better job in our closeout situations when both Gabby and Jordan are on the floor because that's what they're on the floor to do. And then our other guys have to get going. Jewel, Sky, NECA, I thought in the fourth or in the second half got good looks. But again, because of fatigue, kind of didn't want to take or kind of miss those shots. So yeah, we were counteract that with, you know, what we do offensively from our other cards.
All right, thank you.